Hi friends, so today I want to speak to my community for those who have played the game Actual Life, and this is a continuation of the game. Because for those who have not watched the game, skip this video. But for those who have, stay tuned because I'm going to be using some references from the board game. Remember that we always started with time, right? And this is something that I just came across recently. I wanted to do this little demonstration to you on the debrief of what happens and how do we relate this to our actual real life. Okay, so what I'll be sharing with you on the screen below is this thing known as the 2800 framework. Okay, so we all have different lucky numbers. Like for me, it's like 1314 or 31, or in Chinese it's 888 or something 8, right? So those are auspicious numbers, but the number that we need to know in our life in relation to the game is 28,000, and what that represents is the number of days we have for our average life expectancy, which comes out to about 76.6 years, if I remember the math correctly. But for this case, we're just going to round it up to the closest whole number, which is 80. And we're going to draw this little pie chart here. Okay, and that basically represents number of years, right? So if you split out is the first 20, the next 20, and all the way unto 80, which is exactly the same as the board game, right? Because at 60 80, you start to retire. Okay, and what happens in the first 20 years, which is down, let me see, where is it, in the purple color frame. Okay, here. Okay, that's where it is. Okay, there we go. So coming back to the board. Okay, the first 20 years, it's all about studying, right? This is your study time. And then the next 40 years is the most exciting time of your life, right? Maybe you got your first car, your first house. Okay, maybe you want to get married at this age. Okay. So these are some of the like high key events of your 20 to 40 timeline, right? And from 40 to 60, maybe that's where you start to say, get maybe a new job, right? Oh yeah, forget the first one is job as well. Okay, and then maybe the second time you get maybe a second job or second career, maybe a second car, um, or maybe let's say some kind of investments. Okay, let's put it this way. Maybe some of your investments have matured. Cool. And then from 60 to 80, you start to retire. Okay, so with 28,000 days, okay, actually, if we look at it, right, let me just put it here. This is the retiring years. Okay, or the first like half, right? This is the most critical period because this is where we have no income or very limited income, right? So technically, we are left with what? If it's half of that, it's like 14,000 days to achieve all our dreams. Isn't that scary? And if you are, let's say, starting out at about 35 years old, you just lost another like quarter in order to fulfill your dreams. Okay? And so with this diagram here, there is one of four fears that one might think about, right? The first one is, would I live to 60 years old? Right? The second is, should anything happen before 60? Is my family and I protected, or my loved one protected, right? That's the second fear. The third one is, do I have enough to retire? And the last one is, if you have nieces, nephews, or even your own kids, it's about providing them with the right education, the right so-called the right channels of life. Okay, so we might want to think of, do we want to actually save up an education fund for them? Okay, so that's the first part of this diagram. Now there's this thing called the rule of thumb, and if you have heard about drinking a number of glasses a day in the water, what is the first number that comes to mind? 7, 8, 9, 10 glasses a day, right? And so that is like a rule of thumb based on what the doctors say, based on what the Ministry of Health says, right? And so what is the rule of thumb for life insurances and for your life? In this case, it's called succession planning, right? So the numbers are as such, right? It is for your life income protection. Okay, that means if something happens to you and you have loved ones behind, it should be about 10x your annual salary. Okay, so if you're making about $5,000 a month, That's about 60,000 a year. So you should be covered at least $600,000 for your income protection. And what if you fall sick, right? The number is 5 times your annual income. Okay, so you're making 5K, 60K, that's about 300K. Should anything, fall sick, you still have an income replacement for yourself, right? And for your retirement, you should save about 20% of your, again, your annual income. And if you have kids, you want to save up for their education, going to university, it's about 5% of your annual income. So those are some of the numbers for you to keep in mind. And that's where I come in to kind of support you on the different various products. I represent Synergy Financials, and basically we are an independent financial advisory where we have products that are we have access to majority of regulated products by MAS, and it is my job to find those products that fits the budget, the time frame, so on and so forth. So if this is helpful for you, I think this is a very wonderful diagram. Shout out to Dr. Sanjay who kind of taught me this. I think this is a wonderful diagram to not only showcase when we play the actual life board game and how do we actually translate to our real life. Remember, we have less than 14,000 days left to fulfill our dreams. So the question is, what is your dreams and are you doing anything about it?